Meeting in Bogotá, the Lima Group agreed to demand a democratic transition of power in Venezuela.
So that new democratic elections can be held, the Lima Group demands the immediate exit of the imposter Maduro, out of respect for the constitutional authority of the National Assembly and the interim president, Juan Guaido.
However, members remained divided about an eventual military intervention. Most don't want it, but the US is ruling nothing out.
We hope for a peaceful transition to democracy. But as President Trump has made clear, all options are on the table. The United States will continue.
Washington announced extended sanctions against Maduro's government. Juan Guaido asked the member states of the group to increase the diplomatic pressure.
El pueblo de Venezuela ha resistido.
The people of Venezuela have resisted, have survived. And today in Bogotá, in this historic meeting, Presidents, we ask honourably for help and cooperation to increase the pressure that the regime believes it's resisted. Because these are not government acts. They talk about resistance. Resistance to what? To democracy?
Hablan de resistencia. ¿Resistencia a qué? A la democracia.
The Lima Group urged also the members of the Venezuelan army to defect. Up to 167 of them have done it already. Every defector crossing the border is greeted by the exiled Venezuelans on the other side. But the Venezuelan government still persists, including this demonstration in the western city of Trujillo to support Nicolás Maduro. Oscar Valero, Euronews.
Well, staying with Venezuela, I'm joined now in the studio by our journalist Alberto de Felipis, who spent many years living and covering Venezuela and Colombia. Morning to you, Alberto.
Good morning.
Given what we heard Mike Pence, the US Vice President, saying there about all options being on the table, how real do you think the possibility of military intervention in Venezuela is?
The situation is quite complicated, according to me, because America doesn't want to act alone. They want to be backed at least by Colombia. On the other hand, a couple of days ago, you asked me a very straight question. Is this military intervention, is the American interest about oil? Well, I would like to remember that next year we will have presidential elections in the US. If you want to win, and if Trump wants to win again, he has to win Florida. And in Florida there is a huge presence of Venezuelans, and if he wants to win their vote, he has to do something about Venezuela. So it's not only about oil, but it's probably also about being re-elected for Donald Trump. Talking about Guaido, Guaido hasn't said what everyone was expecting, help for a foreign military intervention. There are many options on the table from his point of view. He could ask for a military intervention because the Constitution allows him to ask for foreign help in case. And there is also another option which has been mentioned in the past few days. He could dissolve the army, because if the president dissolves the army, then in this very case the army wouldn't have any legitimacy to act against people. So there are several options on the table at the moment.
Absolutely. And what about the European Union? Because, of course, it initially has backed Juan Guaido and joined the US in doing that. But would it go as far as military intervention and backing that?
Again, in a couple of months, in a couple of weeks, we will have elections also here in Europe, and the European Union is completely split because Spain, for instance, Josep Borrell, the foreign minister, has said that we don't want a military intervention. We claim we want a political intervention, a political pressure. We want a peaceful exit. And don't forget that Italy has vetoed any military intervention and any strong accusation towards Maduro, and the government is split. Matteo Salvini's League is for a strong act against Maduro. On the other hand, Mr. Di Maio and his five-star movement are against any interference, not even intervention, but interference in the Venezuelan political crisis.